We got the BuzzCon barrels right over here. They added all the barrels. Universal finally bought some new stuff. It looks great.
I kind of like the grass. You don't have to mow it.
They're adding some milk bottles right over there. What are they doing in there? Okay guys, we're back at Universal Studios Florida. It is time for another Halloween Horror Nights 2025 update. So we have details about what's going on with the story within inside the Tribute store. But guys, we're now 700 subscribers away from hitting the next tier to reveal the HHN artifact. If you didn't know, we're so close to kind of like dethroning the official HHN YouTube channel. Half of you guys currently are not subscribed who watch the videos. We have a little challenge now. If we hit 76,000, we're gonna have a reward to show you guys, 78,000 and then 80,000. So I own one of the largest HHN collections in the world. So I'm gonna reveal like a jaw-dropping artifact to you guys every single one of those tiers that we hit. Like your mind is gonna be blown. I promise it'll be worth the wait, but we got this. So on that note, it is time to talk about the Halloween Horror Nights shirt of the day. We're gonna go back to last year, right? Where horror lives. But you know what? Let's show off one of the IP commercials. Enjoy.
Warning, unusual audio-visual activity in your area.
If they hear you, they hunt you. A quiet place.
Okay, welcome back, Ted in. It is kind of sad because these updates are gonna be ending soon because we're gonna be going to Vegas. We're not gonna have the daily updates next week. It's a new truss work that just appeared right there. Look at that, right when you first walk in, there's a new truss work. So this truss work has appeared kind of as soon as you enter into the park. I don't see any changes yet with the truss work over here. As you know, we saw a little piece of truss pop up yesterday. There is a cord that is now going to the main truss structure from the rooftop. Is it going down the truss? Oh, it is. If you look, the cord has been zip tied to the truss, and I'm sure it's just waiting down here to be plugged in to something. All right, so next week's schedule is gonna be a little different. So we fly out to Vegas. We're gonna be doing a couple things kind of in Vegas, touristy stuff. Then we have Horror Unleashed, and then I fly the morning after Horror Unleashed to Midsummer Scream. We do Midsummer Scream, and then I do a HHN Hollywood update, I think, and then I go to the Knott's reveal event thing, and I might do Oogie Boogie Bash. There's a lot happening. So I'm gonna try the best I can to get content out. I don't know how the internet Wi-Fi is gonna be. I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to edit the videos. So I'm gonna try my best to give you guys stuff to watch next week. But yesterday we saw them add all the vine work and the moss work to the gates. All right, so over here we have a little bit of change on the stage. Again, they were adding kind of the twig work and vine work everywhere, but they've added these kind of like dead, kind of gothic funeral flowers on the back of the stage right there. You can see them. There's a truly creepy feel to them because they're just like all swaying in the wind just a little bit. Look at that hardcore HHN content creator over there. Over here by this stage, again, they've added the twig work and moss work all over the top of it. They're gonna layer probably some vines over it tonight. We still have the victim underneath the chair. They've kind of covered up his shoes so you really can't see what's going on. Let's walk around the back of it. And again, they've continued the twig work and vine work design. Let's pop into 5 Dimes, see if they've restocked anything. No restock on WWE Wyatt 6 shirts yet. If we head over to the gargoyle stage, they added these guys yesterday. But again, they've kind of added the moss work and twig work and then the flowers. What's the name of that plant right there? Let me know so I can actually call it by its name. This is blocked off now. All the electricals back there. This is new. This is a brand new box that popped up. That was not here yesterday. And a bunch of more cables that haven't been organized popped up. They just placed them there. Now on this stage, they added the moss work and vine work and twig work all over the front of it. Then they added the moss and twigs and flowers. And they continued the vine work and twig work. And then again, that box is there. So behind each one of the stages is one of these square boxes with one of these cords. So it's gonna be plugged into something. So tonight we're just gonna see more details added. more stuff popping up. They even had the little vines looping around the pedestal to the candles. All right, we're heading into the HHN bar. Now, the seating got removed a couple days ago. We still have not had the bar set up. The TV screens have been unveiled, and the Halloween Horror Nights logo is now at the bottom of it, right there. So we can actually see the TVs in there, because before it was just a mount, and now there's an actual TV in there. And then we got the Halloween Horror Nights logo. Let's pop over here, see what's going on. So again, the TV has been installed and the logo has been unveiled right there. Finally, some movement in the HHN bar. Into 9 Crooked Lane we go. Have they changed anything? Have the pumpkins been hooked up yet? Now in the light fixture right here above the storybook page, you can see the electrical wire that'll power the light fixture has not been hooked up yet, but there's a spot to place candles inside the light fixture. The little creepy gnome is doing the hula hoop, and then the same thing over here on this light fixture. The electrical has not been hooked up. All right, back here, we can see this has popped up. It says no sitting on it. I don't know what's going on in there, but electrical cables are coming out of the box right there to be hooked up. They're currently adding some more milk next to the skeleton leg. They're adding some milk bottles right over there. Big changes with the cat lady house again. It's a full-size house. They've added some different shingling going down right there. Now they added this set piece yesterday. Now they've added some chicken wire around the little entrance to the house. Now they've added another section over here. This is a full-on little cauldron. Right, if you look in the storybook, you'll see the witch cooking up some sort of potion. So they've added a cauldron here. I'm guessing they'll add stuff that'll make it illuminate and maybe smoke, but this structure got added. So performer potentially could walk over here, mix something up inside the cauldron. So if you look inside, the flooring has been added, some leftover tools or something right there, and then there's like a back room, probably for the performer to get ready, but that has not been finished yet. But here's a better look of how it looks inside the structure. Now back here, it looks like the door was opened yesterday because it's cracked open a little bit, but that's where the performer will enter in and exit. Here's a better look at the chicken wire. And then up here for the truss work, they've added electrical cables truss to truss. So they've distressed it a little bit more. There's not a video or picture that does this justice. This is an actual house, but this got added yesterday. It's massive. So I'm guessing there'll be a show scene or something happens here.
You look like you're in the graveyard here.
Yes, yes. Doc, wait, is this human poop or is this dirt?
Yeah, what do you think that is?
We were trying to do a taste test, but we couldn't figure it out.
Well, why don't you taste all you want? I will not. This looks like the green. I kind of like the grass. You don't have to mow it.
So again, who knows what details they're going to add tonight. But over here, this might be an entrance for a performer to enter into underneath the turf. There's something going on down there that hasn't been finished. Someone's got to pop out right there, right? They have to. They added a do not climb sign over here. I guess people are trying to climb inside the scare zone. Yeah, the vine work, man. You just feel like you're in an overgrown area. On cruise control now, the light has returned on the bridge that had been missing. The bridge has pretty much all been replaced. Probably tonight, they're gonna replace everything right there. We finally have something added to Club Horror. They've added some fog machines, finally. So if you come right over here, they're gonna have a fog machine over here. This is a new one. They finally bought some new stuff. So they got a fog machine right there, and then also behind this truss work, they've added a new little fogger right there. Universal finally bought some new stuff. It looks great. Okay, let's go head over to Boris Schuster's office. So we kind of talked about everything that was on the board yesterday, but now I want to kind of start going through the actual kind of story and kind of the deeper dive into the Greek mythology so we kind of understand what we're looking at. All right, let's do a deeper dive into the artifact that Elias Baxter discovered. This is going to be the main artifact that's on display and kind of all over all the promotional stuff. All right, so again, here's a black and white image of them kind of discovering it. So it's called the Pythos of Epimetheus. What is a Pythos, and then what's an Epimetheus? So first off, let's talk about the Pythos. So a Pythos is a Greek name for a large storage container. The term in English is applied to such containers used among the civilizations that bordered the Mediterranean Sea. So a Pythos is just a storage container of something. So then what is an Epimetheus? So Epimetheus is a titan in Greek mythology and is known as the god of afterthought and hindsight. He is the brother of Prometheus, famous for giving mankind fire. Epimetheus is often depicted as the opposite of his brother, acting without foresight and thus contributing to humanity's misfortunes, particularly through his acceptance of Pandora and her infamous box of evils. So he's the twin brother of Prometheus. So in his backstory, he was in charge of the distribution of traits to animals. In one version of the creation myth, Epimetheus was tasked with giving positive traits to all of the newly created animals. However, he used up all the good qualities before reaching humans, leaving them vulnerable. So then also in his backstory is the acceptance of of Pandora. Epimetheus, despite his brother's warning, accepted Pandora as a gift from Zeus. Pandora's box, which was given as a gift, contained all the evils and miseries of the world, which were released upon humanity after she opened it. So he's going to be the god of afterthought. His name literally means afterthought, highlighting his tendency to think after making decisions, in contrast to Prometheus's foresight. So it looks like Pandora's box is going to be the container that's on display, so that's why it's called the Pythos of Epimetheus. If you look over here, it's the same Museum of Antiquity design, but then we see the actual container on the advertisement. All right, let's pop into the Mummy gift shop real quick, see if there's any changes. Let's go over some more little Easter eggs. All right, so here's the arcade door. You can hear them working behind there, but over here's this camera, Denim Pictures. You can see it on the camera right there. Okay, so the name is Dunham Pictures. This is gonna be for Carl Dunham. He's in the old school King Kong films, and then also, if you've seen the newer version, it's the character that Jack Black plays. He's like the movie director that goes on to Skull Island and kind of hatches the whole plan to go there. So you'll see his name pop up a lot in this gift shop. All right, so this is where you come off the Mummy attraction. Let's go over all these posters. There's a lot of really fun Easter eggs inside these posters. Then we're gonna have the Uncanny and Bizarre Ancient Ruins of the Lost Civilizations. Upcoming exhibit, pending funding goals are met. So we're gonna come down here, and there's two more posters we're gonna talk about, because this is all gonna kind of fit into the Museum of Antiquities. So right here we have Carl Dunham Presents Skull Island Curiosities, Specimens, and Relics. And then over here, Carl Dunham Presents an authentic Egyptian dig site recreation. All right, we're now gonna venture down here to the next poster. And then also Carl Dunham Presents The Living Mummy, the Ninth Wonder of the World at the Museum of Antiquities, a brand new exhibit. You know, the mummy from the Universal films. Carl Dunham has him on display. Then over here it says Dr. Carl Maya Presents Pristine Amphibious Humanoid, the link between land and sea. This is gonna be a nod for Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now Carl up there is the one who discovers one of the creature's fossils in the rock work in the beginning of the film. Those are two posters we just went over. We're gonna go down to the last two that are right down here. Then we also have Carl Dunham Presents Authentic Egyptian Artifacts and Treasures. If you see, there's like the Book of the Dead in the center. And then we have another poster for the Mysteries of Transylvania, a collection of artifacts, lore, and legends. This is gonna be an exhibit for Dracula. There's so many fun little Easter eggs in the Mummy gift shop. You just gotta take a minute just to look at them. Got this giant sarcophagus. He's wondering too, what's behind that door? I hear a forklift in there. What are they doing in there? All right, so over here by the newsstand. So if you know who Ramon is, Ramon's one of the head guys in charge of HHN. There's a little Easter egg to him right here. This could be Ramon's last name on the Athletic and Sporting Golf magazine, hidden here on the newsstand. So let's go over here, see if they changed anything on the stage yet. All right, so we saw the nozzles on the barrel right there, but now I'm noticing over here to the right, there's nozzles on these barrels. So something's gonna spray out of there, either fog or water or something. And they're not changing this. So I'm guessing something's gonna be projected onto that screen. All right, let's come over here. There's kind of a mesh opening here, so there might be a speaker that gets added, but not too much changed with the speakeasy door. We still have the drain, so something is going to be happening here. Maybe a victim and there'll be spillage going down. Oh, we got food booths. Not any food booth, but we got a Fallout food booth. They even added the symbol on the concrete block right there. So we're gonna have a vault door here. So you got Vault 33. They're having the vines even going over the food booth. So every single scare zone, we're gonna have this kind of vine work everywhere. But that's where you'll kind of pick up your food. They'll have the menu right there. But this looks good. They're gonna keep adding more details to it though. But Vault 33. So we get the Fallout food booth, and we're gonna come over here. We're gonna have the Firefly Funhouse for the Wyatt 6. Again, we're gonna have a sign pop up. They're gonna add more details through the coming days. But we got the vine work going all over it. They got the door. They're gonna have the menu over here. There's like a slight distressing kind of wash over it where it just kind of looks dirty and gross. But over here is gonna be the register, so you'll order and then you'll pick up from the two food booths, kind of like last year. They're just kind of going wild and wacky the past couple years with some of the food offerings. If we come over here, we're gonna see the decals on the car. This is one of the police vehicles. It even says police on the hood. They even added the decal on this side where it says the police department. And then we got that gnarly florist stand. There's been the vomit or something. We have the cement barrels down here. They always attach stuff to the cement barrel so nothing flies away during the hurricane. Let's head over here to the crashed car. We finally got the barrels. We got the BuzzCon barrels right over here. They added all the barrels with the stenciling on all of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, I think there's 10 barrels. So there's 10 BuzzCon barrels carrying the toxic sludge. Even on the front of the car, it says Laboratory and Chemicals, BuzzCon Industries, USA. Do they have any more details on the front? They just added BuzzCon again right over there, and then you can kind of see all the barrels behind the barricades. And then nothing new with the power pole. All right, how's the weather today?
Hot, very sweaty, very moist. It's an excellent day to come to a theme park.
I do like the zip ties that are here. I'm sure these will get cut tonight. So probably the rest of the week we're gonna see more and more food booths pop up. I'm really hoping they still kind of have the theming to the food booths. Or like with the Quiet Place food booth, they were all quiet and they kind of use like sign language to communicate, and it really made you feel like in universe. So I hope kind of the quick service workers are like in character, if that makes sense. All right, we're over here. We got the fog machine right there. We got the other fog machine right there. Nothing new with the tree, and then another fog machine there, and then another one right over there. So behind each one of those buildings, they're gonna have one of the brand new fog machines, which is gonna look great. The journey continues because it's time to go to some tweets. I think it's John Murdy right there. John! Okay, so John Murdy tweeted out this: filming a series of videos today with my fellow HHN team members that will be a deep dive into the 2025 event, covering all the houses, scare zones, tear tram, shows. Once that's wrapped, starting up, lighting walks, into the wee hours. So it sounds like John filmed another roundtable kind of podcast discussion that will probably get released in a month or two, I'm guessing. Time for the daily dirt update. So they've chipped away a little more of the dirt. They're still laying the pipes over there, but it looks like they're putting up more of the decorative kind of city walk wall designs. And then still nothing happened over here. We just have the one pipe sticking out of the ground, so I'm guessing they've finished everything. Right, time to go over the next Super Nintendo World section. We did this section yesterday. Today we're gonna do this Mario section. $35, they're gonna have the red short sleeve Mario shirt. Then they're gonna have the silhouette of Mario on the sleeve. Now these shirts are 100% cotton, so you can actually wear them in Florida. $32, you got the Mario M right there, and then it says Super Nintendo World on the back. $35 for the Mario hat, and then $45 for the baseball cut tee. We're gonna have the silhouette of Mario. It'll say Mario, and then on the sleeve it'll have the M for Mario. $37 for the tank top. You'll have the silhouette of Mario right there, the M, and nothing on the back. It is kind of wild to me that like it's $37 for a tank top, less fabric, versus $35 for a short sleeve shirt with more fabric. So you're paying more to have the sleeves cut off. But on that note, that is another section complete. On that note, it's hit the 100-degree mark out today. Let's go back to the office. Okay guys, we're back in the office. So tomorrow's HHN update, we're gonna have all the announcements for Hollywood. We're gonna talk in depth about that. So that'll be coming tomorrow. But guys, on that note, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and join the family.
We love the family.
Because I'm going to keep you up to date on all things Halloween Horror Nights and Universal Studios around the country. I love you all. I'll see y'all very soon.
Very moist. It's an excellent Hooterade.